All right, so this morning we're going to be talking about why working longer hours is making you poorer. And obviously, I'm not talking about every single case because obviously, if you're an entrepreneur, business owner, freelancer, and you're investing those hours, back into yourself, then the more hours you work, the better. But I'm mainly talking about, if you've got a job somewhere and, you're working overtime. Maybe you're working 2 jobs, 3 jobs to stay ahead, like whatever the case is. You're just selling your time for money, and that's all you're selling. It's just your time. You're just filling a spot. And in those cases, the more hours you work, you think it might help you get ahead. It might get you a promotion or something. But the truth is you're losing the most valuable resource you have in this life, and that's time. And there's nothing you can do to get that back. You can always buy back, your money with, more money, but you can't really buy back your time. So what you do with that time, though, is just as important. And if you're just going to squander it, like if you have the time and you're not going to use it wisely, which I talk about in other videos how to do that, then you might as well be working overtime, I guess, because it'll keep you busy. But the truth is, the uncomfortableness of being in that void where you do have free time, don't necessarily know what to do with it, is a lot better than just kind of like trying to brush it off. And to get the validation of like making money, which is, it feels good, it's like a drug, but then you end up missing the point altogether sometimes because you don't actually end up doing anything amazing with the life that you have. And some people underestimate how amazing they can actually be and what valuable gifts they have to offer if they just took the time to thaw them out of the ground, which is maybe frozen, and it's a barren wasteland right now. But if you really take the time to develop it and to nurture it, everybody's got something. And especially nowadays where we can be replaced, especially those of us that are just doing like remedial tasks, it's going to become more and more about, I think, about the experience that you can offer as a person. And everybody's got an experience to offer. So cultivate it. So that's what I'm saying by, why working longer hours is going to make you poorer. Now, obviously, if you're developing your own software or you're, making movies or, creating intellectual property for yourself that you'll own, then yeah, working more hours is definitely that's contributing to what's going to make you wealthy in the long run. But, even then, because it's like it looks tempting, then there's another type of drug that kicks in when you're on that level, and it's like, oh, well, the more I do, the more it's going to benefit me, and I got to make all these sacrifices, in life and everything. And sometimes you just got to enjoy life. You got to actually go outside. It's even better if you can do your work outside. Like, imagine if you can just, be in a camper van, be out in nature with a laptop and do your work from there. Most of the time that's possible. So already being able to take advantage of that and not working in a cubicle and, making sure you're getting the maximum amount of sunlight and fresh air is already a huge plus. Then it's almost like you're not even working, right? But you are. So that's the great thing about being able to do something like that. But yeah, spending more times in an office, I don't think is gonna, it's not like, cause it's a line that I read in a book that really touched me the most. And the book is called How to Quit Your Day Job and Live the Life of Your Dreams. Now, as promising as that title sounds, obviously you learn after reading that book is that it's a process. It's like a whole different like clock that you're on when you're running that kind of an operation. But the line in the book was, because the guy, he was wondering why he was never able to get ahead. Like, he was making good money and stuff, but he was wondering why his friend was rich and he wasn't. And then the friend that was rich, like, he thought about it. And then when they met up, like, I think like a couple of years later, he said, I found out, like, I know why you're not rich. He says, because you you work too much, you know, you don't have any free time. And that free time is what, you know, really wealthy people used to build, you know, empires, and sometimes as something as simple as a audiobook or a film or just like one project sometimes that can, you know, pay off your dues and put you in a position where now you're like, okay, now I have all this time, what do I do with it? And that's where you want to be. That's the kind of problems you want to have. Having too much money and not knowing what to do with it, or needing to burn it, otherwise you pay taxes, and, you know, different kinds of problems. So anyways, that was just like what I wanted to talk about today. Think of it what you will, but that's what we're all about at DIY Camper Build. We're about inspiring that kind of change in your life and showing you that living a life of freedom isn't about making the most amount of money possible. It's about, you know, using your time wisely and investing it wisely, because it's only a matter of time before you get back control. And when you do, we want to set you up right so you end up not drifting back into sedentary lifestyle that doesn't benefit you.
All right, guys, that's it for this one. If you're building something that's meant to last, whether it's a camper van, a business, or just a better way of living, I'm glad you're here. Everything I use, recommend, or offer is linked in the description. Take what works, build your own blueprint, and I'll see you in the next one.